Morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our viewers across the globe. It's a pleasure welcoming you, Mr. Samuel Effiong, one of the renowned public analysts and authority in political science. It's a great pleasure to welcome you to this brief discussion and pundit here, Mr. Effiong Samuel.
Yes,
Welcome
thank you very
aboard. Could you
much.
please greet the audience why they join us?
Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you. Once again, it's a pleasure. Merry Xmas to you and your family. So how is
Yeah,
the
thank you.
Xmas getting on over there?
Yeah, the Esmos is there. It's nice, but I was so on transit, so I had to stop over when I got your invitation. So about an hour ago. Yes.
Okay, you're most welcome. And in the course of discussion, I will also use the opportunity to relate to the audience one or two issues. The reason why you are here. Of course, you left South Africa to Nigeria, and it's a great pleasure to have you in this pundit despite your tight schedules. Of course, you've been here for a few days and you've been hearing the issues and the happenings surrounding the security of the nation, Nigeria. What is your general perspective in the last few days you have been here, based on what you're hearing, the reportage, the experiences flying through the social media and the rest of them?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's paramount to state that the news has not really changed for over a decade when it comes to the security of the Nigerian people. So these are things that ordinarily any government who is serious about protecting the lives and property of the citizens should put first. But it's a pity that we have um, political leaders, we have people, I call them ethnic warlords, who uses the concept of sit tight syndrome. As long as they want to remain there forever and ever, they really don't develop the need to fix issues that affect the people or things that would distort their political structure. So, because the presidency feels if he goes against the North and cop these things, they really might not vote for him and stuff like so. These people, it's a pattern that is not new. It is not the first time it is reoccurring. And like the last administration, whereby the presidency was directly, openly supporting its own people because it feels that there's a need to allow the herdsmen or whatever terminology you call those bandits and criminals to go around different part of the country, main people, and you hear the people in government making excuses telling you it's ruga, it's because lack of water, is because they don't have grasses to feed their cattle. So I mean, so you can go on and mention these things only happen in a country like Nigeria, where you can liken it to an animal kingdom, where the logic of superior reason do not even work. You look at the headlines, you laugh. You tell someone that this only can happen in Nigeria. Uh, by God's grace, been able to travel to some countries, even in Africa, maybe 5 or 6 in the last 3 or 4 years after I left. There are things that you only see in Nigeria. They happen in Nigeria. You can't ever hear those kind of headlines elsewhere, like monkey swallows money, snake swallows money, the insect or rodent drove away the presidency. So there are funny headlines that when you just hear, they're like, this can only happen in my country. So it's really not surprising what the headlines really look like. The unofficial spokesperson for the bank and criminals, Sheikh Gumi, has put up a press release. He's on Facebook. He was saying an infidel like Trump shouldn't be the one throwing bombs to kill a terrorist. Imagine. So the question is, why can't they pick up this kind of people who are not supposed to be with humans? But he's using a customized plate number. He's using a Prado, Toyota Prado. Mr. Chide, did you know how much a Prado costs? A son is in the academy. He's an army officer, a lieutenant. He decorated his son after he graduated from NDA. So the boy, so in the near future, you'll be surprised for another military information that will be leaking out to terrorists. No, it's a Nigeria. Expect it. So there's really nothing new that is happening that some of us were surprised, or probably it's like a big deal. We were really not expecting some of these things.
Wow, that is quite interesting. You've been around some African countries, as you rightly said, about 4 to 5 African countries. What exactly do you find different from the way Nigerian government runs the affairs of this country and the state of security? As you pointed out, the political interests and alignment on the part of the executive now able in question uh, do not give him that political will to address the state of insecurity because he's believing that such might hamper his chances comes the next presidential race. So what do you see other African countries you've been in are doing differently?
Let me just even chip in something in the last statement. Not just about the fact that he is not able to do certain things because of the fact that he doesn't want to hamper his second term. He is not sound in mind. He even things that won't hamper on his second term, he can't do. So you can't give what you don't have. You operate within the confines of your intellectual capacity. Now, what's in your brain, you go use the functional. You can't give it. You can't fly a first class ticket if you don't have the money. If you don't book for that first class ticket, you can fly it. If you don't have the intellectual consciousness to govern, to know how to handle certain things, you can give it. It is not about spirituality. If you don't have it, you don't have it will show in your governance. So that is on one hand. Then even on areas they should even act. The fear of losing out against the power that be is another thing. Moving back to Nigeria as a case study in comparison to so many other countries or some countries I have visited. Number one is the fact that in the imperfection of some of these countries, they've been able to marshal out and put their houses together to do certain things that make their country a little bit presentable. For example, check Ghana in recent times. Let's not go too far. They did their last election. I was in Ghana. I had electricity for the 3 weeks, 21 days, non-interrupted. I stay in Lagos. I traveled to Abuja. I was in Gwagwalada before I moved to Kubwa. The hotel I stay no get light. I stay on the island. We bought it ourselves. There is no power. The transformer wasn't working. Now, but in Ghana, a fellow African country, I stayed there 21 days and I asked questions. There is strong coverage to more than 96% of the total country in terms of electricity coverage. I've been to Africa before. Some part of South Africa do not have good lights, but some, definitely a reasonable part, have stable electricity. I've stayed in Mauritius in one of my visits. I was doing a research work. 89% of the country, 98% of the country covered with electricity. Read about Cairo. You don't even need to be there. Namibia, there are some countries that are getting it right. So it's shameful that immediately you land from airport, our immigration will start begging you for money. Some other countries don't even ask you for those kind of funny stuff. Immediately your passport shows that you can come into visa free. Let foreigners come into Nigeria and see how your immigration will start embarrassing them from the point of entry. So there are things that fundamentally is wrong with Nigeria, and we need to be saying it. And that's the truth. So when you compare, tell people leave WhatsApp, leave Facebook, travel, find money, enter plane, travel, go to Benin Republic, drive after Badagry, travel. When you pass Badagry, go to Cotonou, travel. So you're going to see that there's a whole lot of nonsense. There's a whole lot of barbaric um, hypocrisy. There's a whole lot of bad governance that we've encouraged, that people in power and their puppets who are not in power have encouraged in Nigeria. And we need to say it. Do you know that recently now Nigerians are going to stay in Burkina Faso? Somebody was telling me last week, like they get like today, they go there. Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso of all countries. So you can see the level whereby people have lost hope. Even hope is hopeless in Nigeria. And that is why when they go to UK for tourists, you don't come back because you're seeing what you've never seen in your life. When they go to South Africa for tourist visa, they don't want to come back. When they go to Maldives, visa free, they don't come back. As of last week, Airpeace took Nigeria, about 20 something Nigerian passport holders, to Barbados. Some were having connecting flights to different countries in Caribbean. They turned back 18. Only 2 had immigration lawyers because they had somebody in Barbados that came for it. Because your passport is scary. You won't come back. Your country does not have light. Your people are Boko Haram. Your leaders go to international community and lie. They disgrace themselves. So those kind of people, you need to be careful when dealing with their people. You need to be careful when dealing with their passport. The international reputation is gone. In Canada, I think last year or 2 years ago, they turned back PDP political officer and APC. They are terrorist organizations. Canada flagged them off and sent them back, and that's the reality. So when you bastardize from the leadership structure, that is how you'll be viewed. But you know what? Apply with a Ghanaian passport now. Dubai, they welcome you open hand. You can even get a work permit. But apply with a Nigerian passport and see the miracle you're going to face. I've been on a transit visa, on a transit to 2 countries, just because of the program I was heading for and the kind of document I was holding. Every other Nigerian who was traveling maybe for the first time, they turned them back right in my presence. So I need to now start showing them, no, I reside here. Here's my driver's license, because I use a different driver's license. I said Nigerian driver's license and my international driver's license. The home address where I was going to already have everything documented, and the research institute already sent it as where I'll be staying. So the only thing that was linking me to Nigeria was my international passport. Every other document I was holding does not carry Nigeria. From the residence, from my utility bills where I was presenting to the immigration, there's no Nigerian. So they really had no issues turning me back. But every other person that, where do you receive? What do you want to do? They are Nigerians. My brother, right on the queue, they were turning them back. And I won't blame them. You can't blame them. You can't have leaders who come out under the presidency, Minister of Defense, saying there's a thick forest that Bob cannot penetrate. If you're a white man, what will you think? That person is the perpetrator, is the perpetrator of terror. It's simple as that. So when you see those kind of characters occupying posts of leadership, it gives you signs of concern that no logical person takes those group of people serious anywhere in the world, even in Africa here. You don't need to take them serious. How do you justify that a country who cannot quench insecurity can send aircraft to another neighboring country called Benin Republic in less than 2 hours to go and remove a coup and that wanted to ask the sitting president? So you had all these air fighters. So what were you doing with it? So you can almost draw the lines that there's infiltration between the government and the people in power. So,
Well, it is quite interesting, honestly. It is no doubt that the systemic failure, leadership failure, is what, of course, unfortunately has bedeviled the Nigerian state. We've seen the porous and corrupt tendencies expressed by the ruling class that have destroyed the fortunes of over 200 million Nigerians. And the government past and present, have not been able to manage the mineral resources and the human resources at its relative abundance. Rather than utilizing and harnessing the potentials in our diversities, unfortunately, we are more divided across ethnic, social, political, and religious lines. They continue to exploit the ignorance of majority of Nigerians, and while keeping them dark, retrogressive, and stuck in the wheel of motionless and despair. Today, we have seen the ever-growing state of insecurity, some making excuses for the terrorists, justifying the adoption of school children for whatever reasons best known to them. The likes of Gumi is quite unfortunate, and some showing some level of sympathy that these terrorists should not be taken out. Rather, the government should be subjected to the point of negotiation with terrorists that have ravaged the Nigerian territory. Nigerians have assaulted the Nigerian sovereignty and has brought Nigeria to its knees, kidnapping and taking ransom from Nigerian citizens. Just as you have said, lack of capacity and competence, commitment to the people is what, of course, we are seeing the results today. The alleged or the supposed Christian genocide that was, of course, rumored. Unfortunately, it is no longer a rumor, but a reality today. And the subsequent intervention of U.S. congressmen and the person of Cruz and More, who championed the cause of this great movement, when one of the clergymen, that Chomo, raised concerns and called for international communities to intervene. Today, the reality is here with us. In case you are joining us, we have a guest analyst, a very sound political science authority and a graduate of political science, the junior brother to Philip Effiong, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, they hail from the same region of the country, in the person of Samuel Effiong, an international political and economic analyst. Thank you once again for being here. And I also want to use the opportunity to send my condolence to you. He came back from South Africa as a result of the demise of his mother. It's a very big loss. May God grant your entire family the heart to bear such a loss at this particular time. It's a very challenging time. I pray that God will grant your departed mother rest in the bosom of Abraham. Thank you once again for accepting to be here with us to discuss an important issue on ground. Now back to our subject of interaction. After concerns was raised about this ongoing Christian genocide in Nigeria, America drew the attention of the government of Nigeria under Tinubu's administration. Unfortunately, he denied such existence. But today, the reality is staring at us. We have seen cases of churches being overrun, attacked, clergymen being kidnapped, and ransom placed on them. Some of them could not come back. We are paid in the cost of that, despite ransom being paid. Shockingly, yesterday night, while people were celebrating, of course, the Xmas, surprisingly, we had a very shocking news about the military intervention of the U.S. Department. The president of U.S. tweeting that he have carried out a well-coordinated and successful strikes in Nigerian soil. How do you feel with such developments? Did that come as a surprise to you?
No, nothing comes as a surprise because prior to this time, the US gave warnings. The US have been following the trend for over a decade. Mike Arnold has been in Nigeria a couple of times.
Okay, seems the network is interrupting. I couldn't hear you clearly.
Oh, sorry, is it better now?
Okay.
Yeah. So Mike Arnold has interacted with the villagers, the people affected. He has interacted with the military. Even in the last attack, I think it was yeah, he personally got the update. Do you have them the update? He informed the they responded. Fact, I talking with people who have superiority of information, superiority of technology, and you're trying to make a defense. You're making a mockery of yourself in the international space, and I'm sorry to say that we've had leaders who have always made themselves mockery in international space on these things because they monitor the movement that the military was coming at a point. They stopped. They stopped at a point and went back till the attack that they informed them happened. They've informed the military and the Nigerian government politicians over a week ago. They waited till the very damn minute the attack was set to happen. It happened. The military checkpoint that was not there is less than 20 minutes drive not show up, and everything went as planned. So what would you think? So the US did the right thing. If a country like Nigeria who signed the charter to several different affiliation with the US, the UN, the United Nations, and you are helping ISIS nurse them within the borders of your country one way or the other, which is threatening the territorial integrity of the United States of America. We remember World Trade Center. So, and those arm of people have infiltrated your own country. We have the ISWAP version, which is the West African version of ISIS. So the US only have the moral ground, they have the intellectual ground, they have the intellectual capacity, they have every right on the planet Earth based on shared information, shared security apparatus, not only to invade, but if possible, remove the government in power. If need arises, they need to set him aside. And it's not the force, heaven will not fall. We also witnessed the Nigerian government, a democratically elected government, removing the governor of Rivers State, claiming the constitution heaven did not fall. So there's nothing which is not a force. It will not be. If you read about Operation Desert Storm, if you read about the invasion of Afghanistan when they to take Osama bin Laden, we know for there are regulations in the international community, and there are regulations even in heaven. In world politics, they have world powers. If you don't like it, you become the world power. Now challenge them at your peril. If Fubara cannot talk, so who is Jagaban to talk when Trump is coughing? You're nobody. The Tocano jet, you got it from them. All your aid, you got it from them. All your grants, you got it from them. You sign different charter with them. So you don't have any moral ground, any political ground, any spiritual ground, any psychological ground to question, negate, or probably talk back at any move. They are all right. Right. So on every ground you want to push in terms of diplomacy, they've been monitoring these events for over a decade. If you are wise enough, you should have quelled it. But you decided not to, because as a Muslim president, with a Muslim vice president, with a Muslim national security advisor, with a Muslim minister of foreign affairs, check it now. See, we did a comprehensive breakdown. It's a Muslim administration. You can decide to say it, or probably decide to hide the fact. It is right with us. The president is a Muslim, the vice president is a Muslim, yes or no? The national security advisor is a Muslim, yes or no?
Of course.
So, your minister of foreign affairs is a Muslim, yes or no?
Yes.
So it's a Muslim administration. So obviously they cannot quench as Islamic uprising. It's as simple as that. Draw the dots.
What do you
So
make of
if
this? In 2014, Tinubu and his delegates went to America to report over the attacks on Christian population with a bid to discredit Jonathan's administration, which Obama, the role he played was very visible in the removal of Jonathan, the election bid. And today, the same man who went to report Jonathan is denying the existence of attacks on Christians.
no, see, you can deny anything.
What can you say about that?
Yeah, you can deny anything you want. The world has already made their conclusion. So the denial is only based on minority position in the world politics. That the government denies anything does not make that subject change in the perception of the world. When I mean the world, I mean the world. Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu gave his speech. He knows there's Christian genocide. Donald Trump, the president of the world president, knows there's a Christian genocide. We, the Christian in Nigeria, we know there's a Christian genocide. There's a public affairs analyst. His name is Mojid Dahiru. I said it. That's one of the few Muslims who are truthful in Nigeria. There's a Christian genocide. The paid Christians, so-called Christians, like with due respect, Bishop Kuka and some of the people who make noise in 2014, who are all quiet now. We call them the paid prophets, really Christians. We know them. We know they are on the minority. So Trump has taken a position based on truth, equity, justice. So what they did, yes, is coming back to haunt them because there's no person who has monopoly of going to the US to do propaganda or pay lobby group or probably use the social media to push any narrative. There's no monopoly. There's no winner. There's no champion forever. So what happened then just came back to play back in the exact way to the same administration and the people who did it first against Jonathan, and the Boko Haram and the insecurities they sponsored came back hunting them. So it's really not a big deal. When God wants to pay you back, He pay you back in full proportion. So, and that's the reality of what is happening. And some of us, if you go and watch the videos I did as far back as 2020, 2021 with Flip TV, if there I said it. I said there is nothing you're doing now that won't backfire in no time because Nigerians are good at copying the wrong thing. It's in one of the videos I said, and that was the video that earned me one of the largest followers back in 2021. And I said it in that video. I said, see, whatever the APC do today, we will definitely want back because Nigerians are good at copying bad templates. You see now, what everybody is copying is to externalize, take all our problem now to either UK, US, Canada, stay in their embassy and make noise, pay lobby group. That's the best thing that works now. Talking here, they will kill you now like they killed the answers. It's not going to yield any result. I told my friend, I said, you are deceiving yourself. Externalize it, pay people. Tag Donald Trump, tag US, tag Canada, tag their prime minister, tag people with strong influence. You will see it will have a fast result than dragging yourself in Nigeria. I think Famous is trying to ask question, do you guys want Trump in Africa? It's not about wanting Trump. The point is Trump is already in Africa. It takes not we don't have anything to hold back America. The iPhone you use is from where? Facebook is from where? Instagram, Twitter is from where? So we have been censored to be Americanized, either you like it or not. Your SATCOM, your satellite provider, how many we do from Nigeria? What do we have? Even your crude oil, they are saying they refine where, how, when, how. So Trump is with us,
Exactly.
America is with us, and we are in America directly or indirectly. So I studied political science, specialized in public policy and administration. Why I now concentrated my whole life to be studying comparative federalism, what across 16 different federal countries. The truth still remains that America has a world influential power, and either you like it. We beg every day now. Tinubu no dey beg for loan. Who they give and those loan? Now my papa we don't die. I be my grandpa. Now they give up. It's America that influences most of this loan. You beg for malaria kits. You beg for HIV kits. You beg for even mosquito net. In fact, as the last where was I? I was in one hospital. There is no light. There is no malaria dog. They were saying that the malaria dog was subsidized by a US something something. I was just looking at the nurse while she was talking. I was confused. Like, are you kidding me? So, in responding to Famous, my brother, Trump is here, America is here, and we are in America, directly or indirectly. Either you take it or leave it. That is the reality of our circumstances. And we have inept leaders, ethnic warlord, bigots who do not know their left from the right, other than to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Why they take all the money to France to treat themselves? The Aso Rock Villa is not functional. I lost a schoolmate, an alumni called Madwagu Somtochukwu, who works with Arise Television some months ago. I think that was last month, the last 2 months, because armed robber came to rob in Katankwe in Abuja. She jumped up out of fear and she was taken to Maitama General Hospital. She was rejected because she had no ID card. Please, where Nigerian law
Hmm.
says that somebody in emergency, that you, a female for that matter, not be saying a man that you're going to say he has gone or he went for robbery. Normal emergency response, they rejected that girl and she died. She was about getting married. She works with her Rise Television. It was in the media.
Yes, I saw
So
it. It was a newly wedded couple, for
she's
that matter.
she's
It's a
my
very
classmate,
disturbing
my
development,
friend. She
honestly. It's
studied
needless.
law.
Of course, when we double into that, we might not end up today's program. It is a very disturbing issue. Unfortunately, leaders, supposed leaders, jet out at any slightest opportunity for medical trip, expending the scarce resources of Nigeria, of course, at their own expense, unfortunately, not doing anything or nothing to fix the state of health. The health facilities is in moribund, in shambles. We are lacking with deficit of medical personnel. I mean, the facilities are obsolete, not up to date, and the rest of that. So it's a very disturbing development. You said America is here. I could agree with you. Now that America is here, despite the sponsored propagandas and lobbying to hamper their presence, are fully manifested at what we saw yesterday. The breaking news brought so much relief to majority of Nigerians. Some apprehended and trapped in panic and fears, possibly for uh, not knowing what could be the next line of action. America have asked Tinubu, the president, to publish the list of the terrorist sponsors, disarm the terrorists, and return the displaced Nigerians in their ancestral homes and communities. Sadly, we have not seen any proactive step or decisive step on the part of the president to address all these very critical issues. So do you think that the presence of Trump now, of course, could facilitate and ensure that the people displaced and forcefully reoccupied will get justice beyond just bombarding a few, of course, targeted hits?
Well, I really admire that question. Justice is going to come, but might not be at the pace we want it to come. That's number one. Now, number two is the fact that some of those communities in question, they've been renamed after the bandits hijacked those communities. I did my NYC in Adamawa State. We drove down from Adamawa to Taraba, from Taraba to Benin. My brother, what I saw, my mouth cannot say it. So some of those communities have been redeemed. So it's going to take time. It needs government interference. People should be able to speak up, irrespective of whose ox is God. This is not your community. You can't come and name Chinedu community, Musa community, then ransack them, drive them away from their farmlands. They are paying you tax. Then you don't come to the media and say it's because of they don't have water. That's why they came to drive away Chinedu community. So Chinedu has all it takes. No. So it's going to take time for certain things to go back to its normal position. And we need men of character. I don't mean the paid political analysts that are always on the mainstream media. Like, I'm launching my podcast by next month, January fully. I'm trying to round up with the funeral. my podcast on my Facebook. I'm using a verified handle, Samuel Effiong. One on LinkedIn, my YouTube channel, Waka Waka TV, like on 4 different, and even on TikTok. So it's a comprehensive breakdown of not just issue, because I noticed that the paid analysts who come romanticize these issues. They don't to say it the way it is, because 90% of the analysts on your mainstream medias are paid. They are either from your major political parties or they are boys from certain people. And the few ones like Rufai Hosseini and quite a few others, they are not being loved by most politicians and some people online. So, in order to go back to your question, is the fact that justice will not be gotten as soon as you want, but the action from a foreign body has placed these guys on check. That madness not be one place. Since the Nigerian army and our air strikes cannot strike you, since because there's a thick forest, let the thick forest hold the US bomb this time around. So that itself is
Exactly,
the
my
first
brother.
yes. So that is the first phase of justice. I thought that the thick forest, they said the bomb will not penetrate. Look at how we mess ourselves in public space because we have incompetent illiterates occupying sensitive position. If I am a spokesperson to the presidency, the first advice, fire this person. Even if you have to defend the government, that is not how to defend the government in public space. You don't go out and say there's a thick forest that bomb cannot penetrate. Who taught you that? Which school did you learn that from?
You can't
Which
imagine.
bush
He's
are you?
talking to children.
Just which bush did you learn that from? Even if you're a Boko Haram person, you know that bomb penetrates. Do Boko Haram manufacture bombs? Do they manufacture AK-47 and rocket launchers? The US gave us virtually everything these guys use. So why would you come out? First step is US have started giving those people what they define as their own aspect of justice. That is how justice should serve. You don't negotiate that you kill my brother, you kill my wife and my relation. Then you now say they should give you pardon. I want to gun and come and kill you. The face of justice is to kill whoever kills other people. That is justice. In Saudi Arabia, where they practice Islam, in what that which I feel is the best form of Islam, the origin of Islam, if you go and read about it. As I did before yesterday, which is 23rd of December, they beheaded 3 people in public because they upheld Islamic radical beliefs, terrorism. They beheaded them in public. Go and Google it out now. Between 2016 and 2025, they've beheaded more than 300 people publicly in Saudi Arabia. I ask you, that is justice. So is Nigeria practicing a better Islam like Saudi and Qatar? No. That is how to practice Islam. The Quran you read, they read it better than you. And it has shown in the economy. If your religion cannot make your people live a better life, that will show in their economic well-being, that will show in their social status, that will show in their relationship with their neighbors, then you're practicing something else. You are practicing something that is not defined by any logic of any God existed anywhere in the world. You are practicing stupidity that shouldn't be encouraged and should be thrown into the dustbin of intellectual consciousness. So if Saudi can do it, then I don't know what we are practicing. So justice has come. Justice has started. The next phase of justice, like we saw what the man Fintiri did in Ndamawa, Sunday, who defended himself, was sentenced to our Supreme Court. Now, Mr. Chinedi, should I shock you? The Supreme Court judges that gave the ruling, because some of us, we are very peculiar with details. Out of the 4 Supreme Court judges, 3 were Muslims. 1 was a Yoruba Christian. Only that one give a contradictory judgment. So that now brings to the question, in order to get justice for future occurrences of those kind of events not to happen, we need to start making sure that the composition of our judicial system or in judgment of certain cases, there should be equilibrium, that the judge, if now 5 people, 2 Christian, 2 Muslim, 1 traditional worshipper. Because how do you define the logic that the man that defended himself will be sentenced to death by hanging? In another contradictory judgment, in some other instances, some other Boko Haram members are integrated into the system. Make it make sense to me now. A Boko Haram terrorist was given 20 years imprisonment. Why the one that defended himself against Bengir was given a life sentence to be dead, to be hanged by death by hanging?
To be hanged. They can't imagine that.
So when we now check their names, some of us, we are good in detailed analysis. The 4 judges, 3 were Muslims.
And you shouldn't expect anything, of course, different from
Like I
other
told
than
you from the
defending,
origin.
of course,
Like I
their
told you from
faith.
the origin, your president is a Muslim, your vice president is a Muslim, your national security advisor is a Muslim, your foreign affairs minister is a Muslim. The judges that gave judgment against the Christian guy that was defending himself against the Muslim terrorist, 4 judges, 3 were Muslims. Make it make sense. Create the lines, add it up. So, in order
Now,
to get judgment and justice, we need to start creating an equalized balance, whereby almost in everything, the religious aspect need to balance. Admissions to school, the committee that will be creating the admission, 5 Christian, 5 Muslim, 5 traditional worshippers. Army that will secure any road where there's checkpoint, 5 army Muslim, 5 army Christian, 5 traditional worshippers. 5 Igbo, 5 Yoruba, 5, because you can't trust the system like that. There will never be.
honestly, already there is a distrust. There is trust
Definitely.
deficit. And do you think going by that configuration, we solve the problem of building trust among the ethnic nationality? Already we have been divided across and along ethnic, traditional, religious, bigotry, and the rest of them. Do you think that could solve the fundamental problem in the foundation of Nigeria? Unity.
Fundamental problems need fundamental solutions. I did a work 2015, which is titled, I've been saying this online, that the continuous secessionist stress of the indigenous people of Biafra, solutions and pathway. I did that. I've written about that. I still did one published in Taraba State University. It is security detailed report I did. See, there is nothing new about Nigeria. If you want to solve the problem, you need truthful leaders, not hypocrites, ethnic workload. We sit down and carve a solutional pathway that for every solution of any conversation that involves religion, we'll pick all the religion, 5 Muslims, 5 Christians, 5 traditional. I'll go and pick somebody that worship Amadio. Who was you? I'll pick somebody in Ogun State or Lagos State that worship Shango. We will see. I will go to Nupe or probably Niger. I will pick another traditional worshipper. We will now combine them as committee chair for equality and balance. Because if you leave it that these people will use common sense of reasoning, a lie, you don't scatter. And that is the template they've been using to administer judgments, portfolios, decision making in Nigeria for a very long time. If not for US intervention, my brother, the status quo would have continued. So we need extraordinary measures to put some things into extraordinary check. We need to even check if the president is going on a trip on that convoy, how many Muslims did there, how many Christians, how many traditional worshippers? In the hospital, federal government hospital, how many Muslims, how many Christians, how many traditional worshippers, how many Igbo, how many Hausa, how many Fulani, how many Ibio people are there? We need to be so detailed to that point. Or else we are not ready for anything meaningful. If we go back to the status quo of everybody do what you want, my brother, solution is not near. Until we go back to the details where every representation matters in every conversation, that is when we will know that we are serious. But immediately you leave, the Yoruba man gets there, appoint 70% of the key ministries is filled by Yoruba. Is Tinubu saying that they are the most intelligent people? Have they performed with the appointment that is filled with Yoruba people? Be sincere to yourself. They have failed more than even Buhari's administration. Compare the administration head to head with the Buhari administration. They have failed.
Honestly, you are just being factual and realistic in your conversation. Once again, my esteemed audience, this is a guest analyst. It's not that person, but a distinguished international public analyst and social critics, Mr. Samuel Effiong, a graduate of political science and an astute scholar. Please kindly like, share, and subscribe if you're joining us in this program. Before you take your leave, Mr. Samuel Effiong, once again, thank you for honoring this discussion this evening, despite your tight schedules and challenges before you. As I rightly said, in case you may want to know, Samuel Effiong lost his mom, and you could also wish him and send your condolence in that regard. He will shortly join us. It seems the network is affecting, of course, from his end. And hopefully he join us in a matter of seconds here. This interaction has been very interesting and educative, very expository, as we can see. There are issues of concern
Yeah, hello, Mr. Chinedu, are you there?